Welcome to the Hardcore Craftlocked Challenge, Episode 6, where we are trying to answer the question, can you beat Guild Wars 2's classic campaign without dying with only crafted gear? This is Trust Issues. Trust is a goblin who is convinced that anything not made by him is absolute trash. Either he makes it, or he breaks it. Last time, we successfully helped the Order of Whispers rescue a princess kidnapped by pirates. Let's see where our adventures take us from here. We head over and visit our sister Time Issues to work on cooking. We've been picking up bags of ingredients from every karma vendor we've seen so far, and it's time to see if any of this can combine into anything useful. I could look up recipes online, but instead I grab some of every seasoning available on the merchant and start slamming things together like a proper chef. Now, cooking is nothing like huntsman or leatherworking, where you get a bunch of new recipes at certain thresholds. Instead, you have to discover nearly everything by trial and error, which makes the process incredibly tedious. Fast forward 30 minutes and we have a bank full of various cooked items to pass over to Trust. Now to turn our attention to jewel crafting. I process a bunch of silver and craft some rings and earrings to push us up to 100 skill level and unlock new recipes. I make a bunch of silver filigrees and combine each one with a jewel to make intricate jewels, pumping us up to 125. Inventory space is getting pretty tight with all of these unstackable items, so I'm having to be aware of that. I use up the rest of my materials as well as a bit more silver I get off of the trading post, then take the last set of jewelry I made for skill and put it in the bank with the food to hand over to Trust Issues. We swap over to Trust and head to the bank where, surprise surprise, our dear sister has sent us gifts. I've said before that I don't trust anyone, but I don't trust her less than I don't trust most. We equip the jewelry and take most of our items levels from between 20 and 25 to 25 and 35, giving us a small boost in stats. We salvage our old jewelry for materials and grab the assorted food buff items from the bank to fuel our adventuring. I'm low on salvage kits, so I go pick up some before leaving the town. We then turn our attention to our main quest, where we have to find the Order of Whispers safe house hidden in Lion's Arch. They tell us we need to get Demmi out of the city, but people are still after her and give us some options. We choose to try and directly sneak her out of Lion's Arch. Tybalt wants us to meet him at the other end of Lion's Arch when we are ready to begin, and I check the price of the waypoints before using them because I am so incredibly poor right now. Looks like I checked the price. Note, they are free while within the city. Yay. We head over to the Rendezvous. We meet up and begin the extraction. The Order turns me invisible and we begin knocking out Ministry guards while Tybalt stays with Demmi. About halfway through the escort, the spell fails and we get spotted, causing lots of Ministry to swarm us. We kill many people who are just trying to do their jobs and make a break for it, getting Demmi to the extraction point. With everyone who is important alive and safe, we head south and get started in the Blood-Tide Coast. We kill some drakes, set some traps, and move some frogs around, and are rewarded with a level up, getting us a poorly made axe and some cocoa nuts from the Karma Merchant for our chef's sister. I swim south and find an agent of Whispers who wants to duel for a hero point. 2 barbarian smacks later, and we have a hero point. I realize my gathering tools are no good for this zone and briefly head back to Lion's Arch to get some replacements. We enter the next story instance where Tybalt helps our damsel in distress by giving her a gun.
If you're fighting, you'll need a weapon. Take my rifle. Ever fire one?
Ben tried to show me once and I nearly shot his ear off.
You're gonna be just fine, kiddo.
Here, have a gun. I have another gun. He then sets off a bunch of prepared explosive apples and annihilates most of the enemy forces. I clean up the remainder with my right to bear arms. Do you get it? And we head into the Whispers base of operations. There we are prompted with 3 options of how to proceed. We choose to help the Quagan. We have a harpoon gun, so my logic is that underwater combat shouldn't be any more of a problem than land combat. We spend a minute cleaning up our bags and head back to the Blood-Tide Coast. Head up a hill, grab a vista, grab a waypoint, and find a very annoying hero point in a fort where I have to aim a cannon with a charge meter. If Sister Time was here, she would be screaming at how long this took to finish.
2 hours later.
We finish up just as some inquests attack. A few arrows and bear slaps later and the inquests are done. At this point, I remember my vow to kill moas to get poultry meat and kill some to get meat to sell for coin. We find a heart by the water that needs help taking out an underwater base. We get our harpoon gun out and start taking out enemies in the water, the second of which knocks out half my hit points and gives me a scare. I now know these guys have some kind of dangerous attack and try to pick them off one by one. We poke a few electric devices underwater, which seems like a great idea, and take a few more inquests out to finish the task. I head back to the heart to check the shop, but all I see here is shoddy craftsmanship. We find a quest area where someone wants help to protect baby crabs by killing skelks. Not sure why we're doing this. I guess the crabs are cuter than skelks and that makes it okay. One small culling later and we check the merchant, but nothing good. Hunt a few more moas for that expensive chicken schmeat and find some ruins where researchers are disturbing lots of ghosts. I feel like that means you should leave said ruins alone, but okay, I guess we're ghost busting today. After making the ruins safe again, for the next 10 seconds, we look at the vendor's pathetic wares and move on. I find someone else fighting a champion shark and promote them to non-consensual tank and open fire with my harpoon gun from maximum range. Oh, and I throw a bear at it. A few scary minutes staying away from sharp teeth later, we get a nice pile of loot for our trouble. Our journey takes us south to Tida Covington's island base. Fortunately, she's not in right now, so I'm free to map it out for that sweet, sweet zone completion.
Deja vu, I just been in this place before. Higher on the street, and I know it's my time to go.
Discover a cave full of dredge and zombies, both of which seriously clash with the feng shui of this area. More chickens! We find a juvenile blue moa and he's cute enough that we won't turn him into tendies. Chat named him Moa Money, Moa Probs. Into the stables. Finish off the required amount of dredge and risen, get our $2 and continue. We swim out to some islands and fight some overheating pirates that are wearing way too many sweaters, so we do our best to take their unneeded clothes. The heart doesn't become a merchant for some reason. Is this normal? I have no idea, but I'm impatient, so onward we go. I decide it's time to continue the main story, but I don't have access to wherever it wants me to go, so it's time to play Follow the Green Marker. We head back to Lion's Arch and take a portal to some cold zone with slightly taller humans. From there we exit into Dredge Haunt Cliffs. Then it sends me back west until I go underwater with no rebreather. I have to help these Quagans fast because there are no rebreathers I trust, so we're holding our breath for however long this takes. We are told the underwater Quagan village has had some Quagans go missing and asked us to start by locating them. We track them east to a cave where Tybalt tells us there are fierce winds and to hug the walls. I do this, but it does nothing. He lied to me. Oh, come on. Oh, I was blocking! I was dodging that time! I was mid-flip! We find the Quagans, but something is wrong with them. Tybalt instantly does a diagnosis and determines no medicine in the world can save them, and says kill them. Who am I to argue with a professional? We finish murdering the corrupted Quagans and head back outside. Hunt a few more chickens for tendies, grab some gold ore, and head east to meet Shahu. The Quagans want to do something practical to protect their village, so we're going to do witchcraft. There's a ritual site up on the hill behind only a few dozen sentient beings, so we're going to slaughter them all so the little frog can cast his spell. Aw, so cute. At least it was cute until he started doing this. Whoa, what's going on? We defend his spellcraft from waves of dudes angry that we killed their dude friends. Fair, to be honest. We defeat wave after wave of dudes and elemental creatures while listening to the Quagan sing the song of his people. I don't remember this. Afterwards, we asked the Quagan if his ritual worked. It worked beautifully. Beautifully, I was really into it. We head back to the village while I eat a hot dog for an IRL food buff. Chip is a beast for the yeast and yells at me until I give him a bit of the bread. Tybalt says something about defending the Quagans while they evacuate, so we punch a hole in the ice for them to leave and proceed to point violence in the other direction. We put our crafted harpoon gun to work, firing bait at the enemy and luring thousands of ferocious piranha at them. Wave after wave of Icebrood are cut down by their mighty tiny teeth. Finally, a champion Icebrood shows up and Tybalt deploys... Asuran anti-personnel turrets? Did you steal Asuran tech? Sir, we're going to talk about this after this is over. After chipping down the champion, it's finally time to resurface and get a breath of air, since with no rebreather I have not inhaled in quite some time. We clean up the bags and salvage all of our poor quality loot, and cut down more chickens for a chance at tendies. The next step of the story is level 60, and while we are above level 60, our gear is certainly not. I decide to keep hunting chickens for a few minutes for more money to help fund our next round of crafting. We also take down enough nearby Icebrood to fill the local heart. After we finish the heart and farming, I head back to Lion's Arch, sell the junk in my bags, and head to the leatherworking station. I process a bunch of leather and combine it with a few other materials I already have and make hunter's leather shoulders. I then run to the TP, picking up some money from selling meat and buy a few totems, venom sacks, and blood. Craft a few leather masks for skill, pushing us over 225 and unlocking the ability to work with rugged leather and linen cloth. I unlock the ability to make larger bags, but the rune ingredient would cost me half a gold, and I decide it isn't worth it to me to do that. In fact, I've never had an easier time with inventory management before this run, since I'm salvaging everything. Craft some new level 55 gloves and a level 55 coat. I'm under 2 gold now, so every penny counts. I buy a few scales and use them to make level 55 shoulders and pants. I have to pick up a few more scales again because I am good at math and craft level 55 boots. This puts me at full level 55 armor, except the hat, which is level 50. This also pushes me over 250 skill, unlocking yet another tier of equipment. I spend a few more minutes counting out pennies, running back and forth to the TP to get the exact amounts of what I need and manage to craft a level 60 mask. Looking at my remaining money, I decide to head over to the Huntsman Station and see if I can do anything for my longbow and harpoon gun. I process my remaining leather, lumber, and iron and look at what I can make to push my crafting skill up 6 points. I need to get over 175 to unlock the next recipes here. I make a number of doot-doots and burning sticks and get a few skill ups, then decide it's time to use my 1 laurel. I find the laurel vendor and get a crafting bag. I buy the highest level bag of materials and sell them all for a few coin, and am surprised to see the total amount of money earned was only about 2 poultry meat worth. But hey, it's something. I do some math and order a few more things off the trading post, which should allow me the skill I need. I make 2 more doot-doots and push over 175. I buy 2 wood, which I am short, to upgrade my weapons, and decide I've had enough of this new mask's appearance. I transmute it to something more fashionable. I then scrape all my materials together and craft a level 45 longbow and harpoon gun, replacing my old level 41s, which puts me at less than 1 gold remaining for our cash.
Ugh, it smells like porn in here.
And with my wallet beaten into submission, I need a break. We're at level 70 out of 80 on character level, level 60 out of 80 on personal story, with our equipment trailing behind that. Are we ready for Claw Island, or is more preparation required? Find out next time in Craftlocked.